I mean, FaZe is a great team. Losing versus them is not a shame, but losing to them like 7 times in a row or 6 times in a row on stage is obviously not good. It doesn't feel good, and we are winning this rivalry in time. I feel like we are really young.
Okay.
You know,
War of attrition.
Yeah.
They all die sooner.
Yeah, so this plays in our favor, I feel like, but we are getting more experience, more time, you know. But it is always a fun matchup to play versus them, and we always enjoy it. Like, they are a great team.
Are you tired of your boring old skins? Head to Trade It and trade them for exciting new ones within seconds. With 24/7 support, massive inventory, free giveaways, and low fees. Trade It is the highest rated trading platform in the market. What are you waiting for? Start trading today for a $5 bonus, only on Trade It.
Changing, but one thing remains the same: victories with 1xBet.
Since the dawn of CSGO, we have been there. Observers of all that competition can reveal. Elation, fear, triumph and heartache reach out from every frame. From the small studios and conference rooms to the epic arenas, the feeling is still the same. We live and breathe this game. This was CSGO Through the Lens. Buy now at hltv.org/shop.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Counter-Strike fans around the globe, welcome to another episode of HLTV Confirmed. Quick shout out to the sponsors, 1xBet, remember to gamble responsibly. That's 1xBet, and TradeIt.gg even. If you're in the marketplace for some skins, go check them out, TradeIt.gg. All right, we're starting to get deep into the tournament break, but the podcasts don't stop, right? There's no games, but people talking. There's fucking plenty of that going on. So HLTV Confirmed, we're back. Prof's going to go on holidays after today, so we'll have a slight hiatus before we return, unless there's any crazy emergency roster changes, like a Device-esque change of Once Upon a Time. Anyway, long story short, I'm joined with the standard Lucas. He's back in the producing chair today. He just warned before we went live about USBs stopping working, so let's hope that isn't the case. And we have Striker and Prof as always. Well, not always, but more often than not, along by my side or me by their side. But anyway, we're all back.
Striker abandoned us last time.
Sometimes midway through, sometimes not, you know? Like
yeah. Well, I was talking about you're going to audition for the next edition of Twister. But look, we don't want to keep the man waiting. He's in the hot seat today. From one chair to another type of chair, we've got a 22-year-old, the Hung Youngarian, as coined by Hugo B. Byron. 22 years young. I've already mentioned his age, but I'll do it again. Hailing from Hungary, destroyer of the Academy League, semi-finalist of his first major, back-to-back ESL Pro League winner, all-pro extraordinaire, torzsi in the hot seat. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Hey, guys. What's up? What's up? Thank you for inviting me.
You're in the middle of the play break. You've been on break since post-Dallas, mate. What have you been up to in the time? Yeah, you went on a bit of a holiday, didn't you? Was that you in the US or was that Exertion? Someone was in the US.
It was Exertion, yeah. I mean, I was in the US after we got eliminated. We stayed there. And then we came back for like 3 days and went for a trip for holiday with my family and my girlfriend. And yeah, I just arrived back like yesterday or 2 days ago. And yeah.
Did you go anywhere nice, anywhere fun?
We went to Sri Lanka and Maldives.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
okay. So you've come back with a nice tan, I'm sure.
Yeah, I am.
You see any turtles or anything out there, mate?
Yeah, we saw turtles. We swim with turtles and sharks. It was pretty crazy.
After which tournament win did you decide to go to Maldives? This is the question.
After both.
Yeah,
Okay,
the back-to-back.
Nice,
All right.
nice.
Well, look, we're going to get into all of that good stuff. So we do as we do. Lucas, roll the bumper. Let's get into the hot seat with torzsi. All right, torzsi, no pressure, mate, but this episode, you're essentially the whole show. There's not too much Counter-Strike news going on right now, so all eyes are on you today, mate. We've got an extended hot seat edition. We're going to go through everything in your career, starting with, how did you get into Counter-Strike? How old were you? Was it the classic introduced by some family member? What's the torzsi origin story?
Yeah, so the story is I have two elder brothers. They are 29,
Classic.
Classic. Yeah.
29 and 31. And they were playing 1.6 when I was like 3 years old, 4 years old. And basically I grew up in CS. Like I was just standing behind them, looking at the screen. And yeah, I was just watching them, sometimes playing a little bit when I was like 5 or 6 years old. So basically I grew up in Counter-Strike.
That's a 7-year age gap between you and your next closest brother, right? So you're looking at a very impressionable age while they're playing. Their age gap is pretty close. Were they playing in teams back in the 1.6 days?
They were playing, yes, my middle brother. So he was playing 1.6 like in Hungary with teams, going to LANs, you know, like amateur professional. And yeah, he was going for LANs, you know, and I was going with them. Like when I was 6 years old, there are pictures from me standing in between the PCs, and yeah, but they didn't play professionally.
Okay. Well, so you got into it at a very young age, which is classic with almost all of the players who are at the top of the pops these days, right? Everyone got into it at a very young age. What age were you actually able to get in the server yourself and start playing? Was it when CSGO came out, or were you playing 1.6 or Source or anything like that?
Yeah, so basically, I think I got my first PC when I was like 11, maybe.
Okay.
And I was like, I had a Pentium 3. So I was playing 1.6. I was playing 1.6 until I was 15 years old or something like that, maybe 16.
Okay.
I was only playing 1.6, and then I started to play CSGO. And then always like we were just having fun, you know, playing for fun, nothing serious. And yeah, obviously everybody knows about my backband, right? Yeah, I got it. And after that, I was like in love with the game and still playing it. And somehow I started to play FaZe, and I got better. I got a better PC. And yeah, basically that's the thing.
I just wanted to go back and kind of put things into context. Are you saying until 16 you still played 1.6?
Yeah, like 15, 16, yeah.
That's like, okay, so by the time the FaZe major was played, you were still playing 1.6. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think like I swapped. No. Okay, I stopped playing 1.6 around 2016. Sorry.
Okay. So
Yeah,
maybe
maybe.
split
Still a
earlier.
few years into CS,
Yeah.
like a few good years into CSGO. Yeah.
You were playing 1.6 when I had probably retired from playing professionally in CSGO.
Yeah. I started to play CS:GO 16 early.
Okay. So was your VAC ban was on CSGO, right?
Yeah, it was.
It's pretty common these days. Who else had a VAC ban recently?
Was it? No.
Did Jimmy have a VAC ban?
No, it was
Yeah.
the other Finnish guy that's in Valorant now. What's his name?
No,
The
Jimmy
Albert
has
guy.
one as well. Yeah.
Jimmy has one.
Yampi,
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And the Yampi? No,
Yampi,
it was the
yeah. Yes.
Oper. Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking hell. There's a lot of those Finnish names. They all sound the same. Okay. So we've got torzsi now playing CSGO in the early days. I guess the transition for you as part of this newer generation is a little bit different, because back when I was playing, we only had like pug services on the side. You used to have to make your teams. Then it wasn't like FaZe. It literally ran everything, and you could build your way up through the ranks that way. How did you start getting noticed? Were you playing in teams? Were you playing in local events? What was happening in that regard?
Yeah. So basically, it was. I had a really good friend, and I started to play with him. And he was pretty like known in the Hungarian scene, and he was very good. And he kind of picked me up, and we started to play together, playing local events. and we were only playing like online events, and yeah, I was getting better and better, and basically like the VEG ban was known. It turned like the Hungarian scene know about it, and everybody was calling me a cheater. So basically, the best Hungarian teams like Budapest 5 and Salamander back then, they didn't really want to play with me because they thought I was cheating. And yeah, until the V4 happened, like that was the turning point, like 2019 V4, where we qualified, and there was like a big argument online when we qualified in the Hungarian scene that everybody was calling us cheaters. And yeah, then we qualified and we played LAN, the V4, and we beat MIBR on one map, and I played really good, and I showed that I am not cheating, right? And basically, like Flash, who is now assistant coach of Navi, like he was leading the Budapest 5 team back then, and he like said sorry, and he kind of picked me up, and yeah, that's the story.
Okay.
Can I just ask, maybe for young players watching, can you give them like a PSA why not to do what you did and get a VAC ban? Can you give us like a little, like, you know, what you were thinking at the time and what you thought later, and how it made everything, I guess, more difficult?
Yeah, so back then when I got the VAC ban when I was 14. Oh, no, yeah, I was 14 years old, and or 15, something like that. And we were just having fun. We were just playing matchmaking, and we didn't really care, you know. And like, I didn't even know like professional CS exists, I think. So we were just having fun and whatever. And after that, like now thinking back and now playing, for example, Premier with my brothers and my friends and getting cheaters in the game, it's really annoying. And it's like, I don't know why is it good. I don't know why I did it. Like it doesn't worth. You will get 5-year ban. Like it doesn't worth it. It doesn't worth to ruin other players' game. You know, like it's just not good at all. So
it's easy as a kid, right, to look for the path.
the fun.
Yeah, but you're like looking for, you know, oh, we're getting wrecked, you know, let's do this and let's wreck these guys back. And as a kid, you're expecting everybody else to be doing all the dodgy shit as well. I think that's one of the things with now that Counter-Strike can purely be played online. People don't have to go for LAN culture and LAN cafe culture anymore. When I was playing, it was all LAN cafe culture. So the idea of cheating didn't even exist because you couldn't even access the PCs to that level. You couldn't even, you couldn't download shit or anything like that through the clients and stuff. I wanted to ask this question, Torzsi. Were you always an AWPer?
Yes, I was. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So from the beginning of playing Counter-Strike, you were like, yeah, I am a fucking AWPer.
Yeah. Basically, I was AWPing in the first team I joined. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that's interesting because, you know, you hear these players who kind of fall into it or they pick it up in a team because someone didn't want to, but it's interesting to know that you'd been doing that out the gates. Okay. So origin story, young lad, older brothers, you see them playing Counter-Strike. You're obviously inspired by that. It's something that you play then growing up as an adolescent. You get into it with CSGO being out there, and then you start grinding throughout the local scene and you get yourself a spot on Budapest 5 thanks to your performance back at that V4 event. Okay. So now we know Torzsi. Torzsi's made an impression on World Counter-Strike somewhat. We can, I guess, fast forward a little bit, can't we, gents?
I just wanted to ask one thing. I don't know if I missed the name, but you talked about somebody who kind of picked you up at the beginning before all the big teams kind of believed in you. Who was that?
Yeah, it was Hussar.
Ah, okay.
He like we were playing together in Gamer Zone, like the V4 team.
Yeah.
Yeah, he picked me up.
Yeah, is that a name that
rings
bells, strikers?
He's not really known. He was only known in like Hungarian CS.
Yeah, I mean, I know just because, you know, our scenes are sometimes a little interconnected. Like some teams used to come over for our lands. Some of our teams used to go over to Hungarian lands. There used to be one that's, I can't remember the name of for my life. Was it no, it's not Infinity. It's the UK one. But something
ECL.
What's
Probably.
the full name? I don't know. There's
Infinity
just one
LAN series.
Oh, it is. So it is Infinity.
Yeah.
I'm not crazy. Okay, curious. Oh, I was just it does ring a bell, the name. It's not like I know the guy though.
Yeah.
And then he later went on to make a tournament series, Hussar Cup.
Yeah, that never got played, right?
I'm joking. Obviously not connected.
All right, let's teleport forward in time, right? Because we want to look at the more to do with the MOUZ of recent times, right? So let's go back into 2023, the fall season. I think probably one of the best points to pick this up would be the fact that in the middle of 2023, I think it was sometime in June, siuhy reunites with the MOUZ NXT core over there, right? You get him back after the Game Allegiance stint. You guys go on to win EPL Season 18 with Frozen, and that's kind of where we start to see an uptick of MOUZ, right? You've won the first big event. It's fucking best of 5. So what was the situation like with getting siuhy back? And we'll get into the Dexter stuff later because that'll be fun. Everyone loves talking about that still to this day. But siuhy coming back, is that something that you guys all wanted?
Sorry, what was the question?
siuhy returning to MOUZ, is that something that you guys all wanted from the team standpoint?
Yeah, so basically at that time I really didn't know what was going on in the team because I was basically almost out of the team as well. So yeah, I just heard that Camille siuhy is joining the team, and he said he wants to play with me. So he gave me kind of a chance, and I was really happy for it. And obviously we knew what we did together in NXT, and so the trust was coming from there. And yeah, that's what we wanted. We wanted like a good leadership, like a strong leadership, and Camille is bringing it, and that's what we needed, I feel like, at that time.
I mean, just going back from like a neutral perspective, back at that time, like your form was pretty bad. Realistically, like I think it was like below 1 rating for the last 3 months or something around that time before the break, and like a lot of people are, I would say calling for your head, essentially like asking for a replacement. And I think you could also say it's probably warranted based on the results. But it's interesting to hear that siuhy kind of gave you a lifeline there by saying like, yeah, let's keep this guy. We can make it work, right? And then obviously made it work as well, because it's not really often that you see these such big changes within the same team, right? Usually there needs to be someone goes somewhere else and then things get fixed. But for you, just this change of the IGL really like got you back on track from where you were like end of MOUZ NXT, even the start of early main MOUZ roster.
Yeah.
I want to ask a question regarding this, torzsi, right? Because it's something that I'm always interested in when AWPers come onto the screen at the top level. Because you see them come on and they have this confident play style in the sense that they know what picks they like to go for. They know what moves work for them. And that was like when you first came from the academy, realms, I suppose, and then we're playing more upper echelon Counter-Strike, more tier 1 CS. In the early days, you were having that impact. You were able to be that flary AWPer that we're seeing more of these days. Now, I wanted to ask, is it like you make your stamp on tier 1 and you show people that you can play, and then now you're in the spotlight and people start studying the type of peaks, or they always have a flash for the type of moves that you're going for? Or is it what has been spoken about to no end? Is it actually the leadership and the way that you were being used in the team that you feel made harder for you to perform? Or yeah.
No, not from the leadership. I wouldn't say that. So from my perspective, I think it's a long story because I was coming from the NXT team, right? And like we were winning all the events, winning all the games. We were really good. We were the best team at the academy team. We were like the best academy team. And then I get picked up and going to that MOUZ team, which was basically was not in the best shape, right? It was basically dying, ropes left, like we were rebuilding and everything was unsure. And I was trying to bring the confidence. And as you said, I think like in the first few events, I played decent, even though we didn't have good results. I showed that I can play good, but as we were not bringing results, the mood was not good in the team overall. Like it was like a graveyard, sometimes it was really not fun on the server. And basically it was like carrying throughout the year. And yeah, that basically I was pretty depressed at that time, not playing good, not bringing results. And just getting all the shit talk on the internet, didn't know how to deal with it. All the things just builds up, and then you cannot perform, and you just need a refreshment, need a change, or yeah.
There was
So,
also there was also a lot of changes at the beginning of that period, right? Because I remember it was like from the whole NBK situation. I know a lot of people criticized that he was out of the team within like 3 months, when JDC was standing in Katowice, and then it didn't take like 2 events before NBK was out. Then Bimas came in and he was also out within a few months, and I think there was a lot of criticism there from the outside. It obviously ended up working just because that's how Xertion got promoted, and we see where he is, where you guys moved. Was that also kind of part of the chaos inside the team? What was going on with all the changes, and how did you feel that from inside of the team?
From inside the team, to be honest, from my perspective, I can't really tell too much. I don't know how these changes went through, because we have a coaching staff, obviously, Cyclone and Ole, our sports psychologist, and obviously back at the time it was Dexter, the IGL, right? And they were discussing these things, and I can't fully remember how was the changes, what went through, what was the discussions, but yeah, basically just Xertion got promoted, and yeah, but I can't really tell. I don't remember, to be honest. Yeah.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
was it for you? Did you feel like the changes were making things better, or was it just like chaotic?
No, like the first few changes, when Nathan joined, and then JDC came, and then Bimas got kicked. Like it was pretty chaotic, yes, because all this happened in like few months, like 5 months or 6 months, and it was so many changes, and we couldn't stand our foot on the server, because we changed the player, and then we have to start again, and then we change again, and then we have to start again, and it was pretty chaotic on the server, yes, I would say.
I'm looking at it now on HLTV with the amount of changes, right? Like you joined early 2022, and then that's as ACOR gets benched, and then Cyclone becomes the head coach, then MBK is there, then JD's. Like it just looks like it's nonstop, right? There's actually quite a few changes that have happened, and in what is not that long of a period of time, even though it does feel like it was a long time ago. Like it does feel like,
honestly, this roster that existed before, I would say, you started getting all of these MOUZ NXT players, doesn't seem even like it was real. Like if you look at the lineup, that was like Dexter, ACOR, Frozen,
Bimas and BK at that time, I think.
Right. It was like, what the was this?
Yeah.
Like it feels like I conjured this out of thin air. It doesn't seem like it was a real roster, but it was. It's kind of crazy to look at. When and that was also the roster that was literally overtaken by MOUZ NXT in the rankings at some point, So then what essentially everyone was asking for eventually more or less came true with all of you guys reunited. And this is kind of the second half of 2023 when Siuhy came to the main roster, and then
Jimmy as well.
Jimmy,
yeah.
But Jimmy wasn't in your MOUZ NXT. He was in the next generation, right?
He played with Xertion and Siuhy, though.
Yeah, okay.
So there was some overlap. But I think the thing is, it's crazy from where this was at the start of the year to the flip of form to then you were MVP of Pro League that season, right?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah. So that's towards the tail end of the year that you get MVP of that tournament. So how it came together pretty quickly. Did it feel like everything clicked once you got those boys in there, and it was a young team? Everybody, like, obviously we talk about Frozen was the young veteran in terms of his experience compared to everybody else, but what was the atmosphere, right? You're talking about the old roster a bit like a graveyard. Was this the complete opposite?
Yeah, it was kind of the opposite, but also not in the team, but just for myself. Like, as I said, like when Siuhy joined, he said he wants to play with me and give me a chance, kind of. Like, knowing that he trusts me and he believes in me, like your IGL trusts you and believes in you is everything for an oper, in my opinion. Like, that's what you want, right? And like knowing that in my head, and he was giving me all the freedom I want to do, like even though we played Cologne with like 1 week practice, we did good. We didn't make it to playoffs, we did a good results, but then we went to Pro League with a little bit more practice, and then we showed what we are able to do there as a team, and it was just really amazing to play really good, finally, play good CS and bring like a trophy. So
I have
Yeah.
like a kind of a roundabout angle, but I'm curious about what your take on it is because, you know, at the time, as Prof was talking about, people were kind of calling for the Academy MOUZ team to just become the main team. That was like a moment for a while, just because of how badly the main MOUZ team was doing. Do you think that at the time it would have been possible for you guys to compete with the tier 1, or did you need this kind of gradual like promotion cycle, you know, to actually get used to the tier 1 by one and then finally make it work together as kind of the same team, or at least the core of the same team?
yeah, it's a good question. I don't know if I'm honest, maybe I think we could have participated in tier 1 events with that team. I think it was a really good lineup, and everybody was like clicking with each other, and we had a really good system in that team. And yeah, so I would have liked to try it out to play some tier 1 events with that lineup, but unfortunately it didn't come through. But I think it was also like a good path to get promoted one by one, or whatever was the case, and like reuniting kinda. It's also working.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, you also had like you joined up with Frozen, who, you know, was your best performer at that time, you know, so that was a big upgrade on whoever was there before, you know, in MOUZ and XT. So I was just curious about that. What about from the siuhy angle? Obviously, you know, he left to join Gamer Legion at some point and then came back. Did you see a big difference with him getting some tier 1 experience from Gamer Legion? How was his system still the same? Was that like something that you still recognized, or how much did he change?
No, I think he didn't change, but he improved a lot. Like in NXT, we kind of had a lot of freedoms on our players, but also Camille was calling a lot. And like him coming back from Gamer Legion, I recognize that he has more like a leadership, you know, like he wants to take things on his own hand,
Okay.
which I think is really good. And I think he improved a lot in that period, also making the major finals, gaining a lot of experience that I think was amazing from them. So I think he got a better IGL overall.
Okay. So, sorry, Prof, you were going to go?
I actually wanted to touch on just one more thing regarding this whole, like, you know, having more freedom and doing what you want to do and like making your own calls and stuff like that. I think because it's a very, I would say, general statement that people mention a lot, but I think the average viewer can't really understand what it means. So if we could be like a bit more like concrete, let's say in an average map that you play as MOUZ, when do you make the calls? Is more like T side, CT side?
Man, I listen to this guy in the studio say, I'm picking squeaky door. Like I'm listening to him on Nuke on the CT side. He's telling siuhy he's going main and he's picking squeaky.
Yeah,
he's calling his shots.
Can you explain a bit more how the dynamic works, right?
Yeah, so obviously it depends on maps. There are maps where you have to play support AWP, like I think Ancient and Inferno, where you don't really have too much thing to do. So
just
you need to realize what maps can you play, what maps you need to stay back and hold flashes, play support, which is sometimes can be boring, but it is what needed to do on the map, and this is how you help your team. On the other hand, there are maps where you can play free with the AWP. For example, one of my best map and favorite map, Nuke City side, is you give all the freedom to the AWPer, and I just call whatever I want to do. If I want to go outside, I pick T-Red, I call it, and then outside player follows up, and then or just going inside A or going inside squeaky, as you said. So yeah, basically on CT sides, I can control whatever I do, and if Camille sees that maybe it's not a good idea or he doesn't want me to do it, he will call it, and then I trust him. Or if he wants me to do something, I will also trust it. So it's both ways. But on T sides, I still have some peaks, and I still have the freedom to do what I want if I call something. But on T side, it's like we have a system which is working, and on T side, I don't really call too much in the early round, more like in the mid round if I want to have the team in mid round calling, or if I'm that, for example, that calling a lot. And yeah, but T side is more on like Sershan and Shuhe. But on CT side, I do a lot of calling.
Do you think with Dust 2 back in the map pool that you might have more influence on T side on that map specifically? Because that's where like an AWP's pick can really just change the whole round, right?
On Dust 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we played 3 games on Dust 2. We won all of them. Yeah, so it's a little bit too early. We also didn't play too much on yet, but I think you're right. I think Dust 2 is a map where AWP can do whatever he wants. It's like long ranges everywhere, middle, long, on B. Like, I think Dust 2 is a map where you can have your AWP do whatever he wants and just lock angles, control areas. So yeah, it is a strong map for AWPers.
Yeah. Okay. So Shuey comes back, Jimmy joins the team, you guys go on to ESL Pro League, you win it, you get MVP, and then boom, the whole world blows up. Or it may as well have. CS2 comes out at that Pro League season. Everyone's like, what the fuck is this? What's going on? Oh my God. Did you feel that coming out? Was it exciting, or was it like, oh, for fuck's sake, man, we just got to the top and now we just won a tier 1 event and now the game's changing? Which did it feel?
No, it was not even that winning tier 1 event. In overall, I felt like that CSGO at that point was it on its peak. Like the game was so good in every aspect, moving, shooting, strafing, like everything was perfect in my opinion in CSGO at that time. Like the game was in such a good point, and CS2 came out and it was so bad. It was terrible. Like, and it was really bad to play, to be honest, in the first couple events. Also, playing from online was like practicing CS2 was really hard. It was really bad. Like playing online and playing on LAN, CS2 was a huge difference. It was much, much better to play on LAN, like the 0 ping, and also that everybody's on 0 ping. Yeah, it was much better, but it was still not even close to CSGO. But like playing online, CS2 was terrible, really bad.
Especially with the Peekers advantage back then, right?
Yeah,
that was
for
when,
uppers,
like...
I guess
exactly
you feel it the most, right? Because early on, that's what Cloud9 kind of got thrown off by the whole idea of like, maybe uppers are not that good, because part of it was for sure you want to hold an angle, but you can't really hold an angle, right?
Yeah.
This is perfect though, torzsi, because you've activated our trap card. Prof wanted to go through some of the different elements that CS2 have brought our way, and we'll get you to rate them, right? Do you like them? Do you hate them? Do you think they need to be changed, right? So we'll go through a couple of these, and then we'll continue to transition down the path of how MOUZ changed throughout the tail end of 2023. So with CS2 came a change in the in-game format, right? From MR15 to MR12. What are your feelings on MR12?
I don't like
like a 1 to 10 rating. What's the scale?
Well, whatever he feels, and then we get him to rate it after. Let's get the general thoughts before we make him put a number on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
You don't like it?
MR13, no. I really dislike it. I think
less rounds to get it up.
Yeah, but also it gives you less chance to do mistakes. And like, yes, it's professional and everything. Like, you cannot do mistakes, but we are like, everybody is human and everybody can do mistakes. And it, like, for example, losing the first gun round and then you are 5-0 down or whatever, like, and half is already what was
almost lost, I guess.
Yeah. Like you play 12 runs in a half, right? And it's almost over, and it's like it's not a good state. Still, I think because of the money situation, like I still think they would need to change the money somehow, because I don't think it still works that, for example, you lose the pistol, you eco, and you have 4.4, and you have no, on city side you can't have like full nade set. It's really hard to play. It's still not in a good state. And
your options are definitely limited, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, so if we'll go with what Prof was looking for a 1 to 10 MR12, how 1 being the worst, 10 being the best, where are you putting it?
Like from playing perspective, like a 4.
Okay, all
1
right.
to 12
Very
is the scale.
I said 1 to 10.
Okay, I misheard. I'm
If
sorry,
maybe I did say 12. we were talking about MR12.
No, you didn't.
All right,
okay.
what about the smokes?
Yeah, so the smokes in the beginning, I didn't really like it because it kind of changes up Counter-Strike a lot. Like it was never inside the game, right? But as you started to play, like you figure out some new ideas with it, and it became pretty fun and pretty good. And to be honest, I like it a lot. I think it's good to like something that changes up the routines, inside the server. Like I think it was a good idea. I think I like it now, but in the beginning it was a little bit weird for me. But overall, I would give like a 7.
We just have to think back a couple of months ago, right? Remember when the smokes initially came out and then they changed the height of the smokes and they were playing around with all of those factors? Like it's changed a lot, right? It's changed it's an awful lot in a short period of time. And I think it's like the way it plays out. I remember when I went into the office and Dan, one of the devs, he brought it up and I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, what are we doing, man? Like and he was like, oh, just play with it. And then the idea of how you can just, if you're quick to react, okay, we know there's only one here and you just blow open the smoke and go. Like making that quick decision can actually just get you around. So I think it's a fun dynamic. It definitely makes the gameplay a bit quicker as well, which is cool. Okay, next one, the maps.
The maps.
So obviously Inferno changed a bit. The map pool in general, I guess we can talk about. I suppose what other the skyboxes would probably play into that discussion with the maps as well. So how do you feel about that overall?
I think the removing skyboxes was a really good idea. I think it would have been nice to have it in CS:GO as well. But to be honest, I really like it that you can have like spawn smokes and you can build up runs around it. You can set up runs from T side and also from CT side. I think it's a really good idea. And yeah, so I like the skybox. About the maps, I think Inferno was really bad in the beginning when you had the roof in the middle. Like it changed up a lot of things in the beginning. Like mid takes was much slower and much more complicated. It was really difficult to take mid as T side. And I think it's great that they changed it back towards like CS:GO, that it is removed and you can do nades again normally and you don't have that roof there. So I think that was good. And now, for example, Vertigo, like it is an interesting idea. We didn't practice yet, so I can't really say too much, but it's fun on pugs. I think it's good to open up that map a little bit because it was really closed, and
especially for an AWPer.
I mean,
yeah, it was really but I think Vertigo was, it was really hard to ope on CT side or not on T side, and now maybe it's a little bit better. So I think it helps opening on Vertigo, and to be honest, I like it, and we will see how it will change the meta.
Why do you think it helps T side? Because most people would probably see the CT side. We know there's a quicker peak towards ramp and stuff like that. Why do you think it affects T side opening?
It's because, for example, when you get up ramp, obviously if you have an op, you always try to get sandbags or you are on that ledge area, and you have like more areas to
search, right?
To search, like they can come out Ivy, or I don't know how you guys call it, from the new wall, right? You have catwalk now you can hold. Like basically back then it was only connector and CT, and connector was always smoked, and either they saved or like it was really hard to retake from CT side. And now from CT, I think it will be interesting to see retakes on A because you have much more space to play with. And I think because of this, there will be more retakes. Maybe OP have more chance to get kills on that side. So yeah, but but obviously it's also better on CT side as well, like both sides.
Yeah,
okay,
but I think aren't the timings kind of fucked now? So like a CT can't really do the op peak like down yellow like he used to do.
He can.
Okay.
You can even do it faster.
Like
the other side,
you have this insta flash. So like this connector side where you can. When we played complexity, and we didn't know this flash because we didn't practice before that, and then we are playing, and yes, D side was holding Ivy gap first, right? Like they are faster, but they cook this flash that you are instantly blind when you are peeking as CT, and on T side you are blind in like behind the box, so you can peek. And we didn't know about this flash, and they were doing it every round, and it was like, okay, what are we doing now?
That's when they were double nading as well, right? They were double nading the yellow run out and shit.
Yeah. So I think actually they cooked a lot on Vertigo in that few days.
But that was a really close game, wasn't it? Didn't it go overtime?
Yeah, it was
But you
overtime.
still won, right?
Yeah.
No, we lost that map. I
Oh,
think.
okay.
Yeah. Okay. So the map pool overall, let's say you had to rank it out of 10 at the moment. How would you rank it? Oh,
It's a low one. It's a low one.
Yeah.
What is
Six.
it?
Six.
6? Okay.
6? Okay. Now, Prof's
that
written
bad.
down visuals and then new anti-cheat. So I think we're not going to talk about the anti-cheat, Prof.
I mean, we can give it a strong.
Well, how,
Two.
Torzsi, how much competitive are you playing? Are you playing any?
Like premieres?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I play sometimes with my brothers and friends, and it is so terrible.
Yeah.
Like, if we play on like on high ranks, 90% cheaters.
Yeah.
It's really bad. But if you play like 15k elo, I think there is less cheaters and it's okay. But like high ranks, you cannot play Premier because you are just cheaters everywhere.
I haven't touched it again since it popped off last year with the cheaters. I haven't even bothered going back in. I'm not having this experience. I don't even want the thought. Like just the idea, you know, as soon as someone does something such, like, oh, this cunt's cheating. And then at that point, it's like the whole game is fucked from that point. So
Really sad.
So what? Yeah, I think we would have to give it a 1 out of 10, right? I don't think we could go any higher than that.
Basically, our Premier experience is that we queue in, we get the match, we see that they are cheating, and I'm leaving the game.
I respect that. All right, let's go to the final one here regarding CS2, and this one's probably a bit more general for overall. But you mentioned when it first came out, it was rubbish. You didn't like it. It was very, online versus LAN, et cetera, et cetera. But the game now, when you play it, how does CS2 feel in general to you now?
I think now it's much better state. I think it's pretty good. I think there are still room to improve on CS2, not just in game, but in general, like doing community servers, like having KZ and Surf, which is a big thing in CSGO. Like I played KZ a lot, like every day. I really liked it. I was pretty good at it. And now in CS2, you like not the best, and also your movement is much harder, like bunny hop and things like this. But like shooting and like strafing and things like this, speaker's advantage, I think it's in a good state, and I think it is good. Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
I like it now.
All right. That's good because you answered like the second half of that question about, what could they add or what could they change? You answered a few of those things there. All right, sweet. Let's now go back on the timeline, shall we? So Pro League's won, CS2's out. Things are getting a bit rougher around the edges. There's rumors about Twists departing FaZe. Where is he going? And then the conversation begins about Frozen going to FaZe. Now, you guys are sitting there hearing this. How early in the process did you know that this was a reality?
I'm not exactly sure about the timelines, but David Frozen told us that he got contacted and he will keep us updated, but there was nothing set yet. I think it was after Sydney or before. I'm not sure about the time. I think it was after Sydney where he said he got contacted, but nothing is set yet, and he will keep us updated. And yeah, that was the situation, and we were not really worried yet. And then we still practiced with him. We still played. We went to this Eliza tournament where I think on the first or on the second day, he said that they started to talk, and it looks like he will go, and it looks like it will be set soon. So he said it will be his last tournament. Yeah, and then we started to search for new fifth. But yeah, basically Eliza, where we knew he was leaving 100%, and we knew it was his last tournament with us, and yeah.
What type of mood did that leave in the camp when he told you?
I think it was a rough time for us because obviously David Frozen was like one of the front three-ers in our team. Like he was the veteran and like he was the best player in the team. And I think everybody from us, when we played with him, we learned a lot from him, and I could thank a lot of things from him, like from playing and like teaching me and our teammates like how to behave off and on the server. Like he was really like a leader, you know, of that team, and it was really nice and it was really good. But after he left, it opened up a bigger space for us players, you know, like bringing in Brollan. It was like a mixed feelings because we missed him a lot because he was a big part of the team and he was the best player in our team. But also bringing in Brollan, we could see that maybe it helped us in a way, you know, like for example, Sershan getting more space and playing however he wants, or the same for me. Like it was a mixed feeling. Yeah.
How do you go about replacing him then? Like at what point does Brollan come into the picture? Like, do you guys even have it say into who's gonna come in, or did you have any ideas yourself? How did that process go?
Yeah. Like before I say that, I also want to say that after he left, we also find like Camille, Siuhy, Sershan, and me, like we found a little bit of new leadership, you know, like for example, Dory taking mid-runs, Sershan taking mid-runs, calling, Siuhy was calling much more, like, I don't know how to explain it. Like he was much, he became, I feel like a better in-game leader after Frozen left, not in a way he held him back, but it was just like natural that we had to step up. Right? Exactly. Yeah. We had to progress. And also me, I think I progressed a lot after he left, becoming more like a emotional support of the team.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was nice to see everybody was like stepping up, even though he left.
So it asked more from all the different players in different ways.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, that's a cool little tidbit there, though. That's cool.
Yeah. And then, yeah, I don't know if I can talk. I don't want to talk about it because Brollan was not our first priority, and that's it. I don't know if I can say.
I think you wanted to get Justin on loan from G2, didn't you?
No.
Oh, I think. See, I tried to. I
think Nerds was a player that was mentioned. I know. I think there are some talks there, but it was kind of complicated to get it done in time. There's also some roster lock coming for the major. All of these things that needed to be sorted out, and I think that took a bit too much time. And obviously people can remember how the whole Ents trio going to Falcons happened, and then there was a whole thing where all of those players together were supposed to go to Heroic, so like Nerds would then go with them, but Nerds going to the Falcons wasn't really an option for him, unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want to look at it. And there was a lot of this all in the air kind of around the time of the Abu Dhabi tournament. I know there's so much shit going on at the same time, and people like walking around and no one knew what was going on. And then Glaive also picking up the 9 guys. What a crazy time.
What a crazy time. But it was torzsi, though. You guys went down to the dog kennel, like the pound, and you found this puppy that really needed a good owner because it had just been abused by its previous owner. And you picked yourself up a little Brollan. He's like a little Labrador, and you brought him home, and he's never been happier.
Yeah, Yeah, so we picked him up for stand-in for Abu Dhabi.
The World Finals.
Yeah, and we played with him like 2 days, I think, before that. But I can't remember how much we practiced, but it was not much, like a few games, I think. And then we just played with him, and he was like adapting really well. He was having fun with us, and we really liked him, to be honest. And then MOUZ decided to loan him, I think, for this season. And then yeah, we started to practice with him, and we started to play tournaments with him, and it worked out really well. Like he's a great teammate, and I think it's a little bit of shame what the social media can do to a player. How can he, like, he not reputation, but how other people see him.
Perceive, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it was I didn't know him before. I obviously didn't talk to him at all before he joined MOUZ. I never played with him, but it was a really nice surprise, and I think he's a good friend and he's a great teammate. He's a beast on the server and outside of the server as well. Yeah.
Sounds like you didn't expect it to work out when he first came in on loan.
Yeah, because no. So it was just, we were just really surprised after Abu Dhabi how emotional he was, and because as everybody saw it from the internet, like NIP was not treating him too good, I think, if I can say that, or at least from on the social media. Sorry. So we were just really surprised by him, how he behaves with us at that tournament.
Have you noticed now that you've had him for some time, has there been, because he was part of a very good Fnatic roster once upon a time, right? We're going back with the JWs and the Flushes. He's learning from like the forefathers of CSGO, the first ever major winners. Did he have much to offer in the experience realms? Because you lost Frozen, who was heavily experienced, but Brollan has been playing top tier Counter-Strike for a pretty long time himself.
Yeah, he's also like top 20 player 2 times, I think. Like he has a lot of experience, and yeah, he contributed a lot to the team with adapting. Like we gave him a lot of space to do whatever he wants, and then as we progressed, he gave it us back with what he can offer, what he wants to do, and he also added some runs, what he would like to do, how would it look like in a run, things like this. And I think he and Siuhy are doing really good together because they play sides together a lot. So yeah, also he's playing sides with me. So yeah, I really like him, to be honest. I think it's really good to play with him on a side because he's really in game. He's really talkative, and he always says what he wants. He's confident in what he wants, and he's always aware around his surroundings. So yeah, he just talks a lot, and he knows what to need to do or what is need to be done.
I'm going to make a statement. You can react to this however you want. When I think about your team now, I don't feel like there's any baity boys.
Baity boys?
Yeah, everybody
like
feels. Yeah, well, I'm not calling Frozen or Rops betas, but they are just a little bit more lurky.
They're baity.
They're definitely a bit more on the lurky side. But right now in your team, I don't like. Obviously, you have players who will do it when they need to do it, but I don't categorize any of the players in your team as someone who won't do what's necessary to win the round.
Yeah, I agree with you totally. I think you have a fair point. I think the biggest baiter in the team is me now at the moment. So,
but you kind of have to be as an operator.
Yeah.
You can't just put yourself in all kinds of risky situations.
Yeah, exactly. You need to bait smartly. But yeah, I agree. Like that's what I also meant when like Brollan joined. That yeah, it was a little bit more flowy, in the game. Like more trades, things like this, just more natural.
Okay. Well, that sounds great. Okay.
So I guess props to props to the coach for picking him up as a stand-in for that one. You know, kind of seeing what 90%, 95% of the people watching CS didn't see, that like Brollan still had something to offer. You know.
Yeah, props to the coaching stuff.
Okay. All right, let's continue as we would turn the page on 2023. Brollan staying on loan. I would imagine one of the longest loans in Counter-Strike history. But he is signed now, right? But he was loaned to you guys for an awful long time. You played Katowice at the start of the year. You had a semi-final berth. You did the classic MOUZ. You topped your group and you went straight to the semis.
Yeah.
But then you got the paddling from FaZe, your big brothers. They beat you 2-0 there. And then you obviously had the major with the G2 loss. So let's talk about each event on its own, I suppose. I want to ask, because we get different answers from different players and you hear different things in interviews. Do you think it matters if you go through in one of these brackets straight to the semis or to the quarters? Do you think it matters for a team like yours, maybe more time on the stage would be better, like being in the quarterfinal, then progressing to the semi, or it doesn't matter?
Yeah, I think it matters. I think I don't know if I have the correct vision, but I think it's good to just get far as you can in the group stage. You know, I think it's good. I think it's good that you can qualify to semifinals. I think it's a good thing. I think it's good if you are able to do it. Of course, it has other side. You play less games, you gain less experience, you have less game time. Yes,
you also play against stronger teams realistically than if you play the quarterfinals before.
Yeah, you're right. But yeah, I think it's still better to make it to semifinals instantly than rather maybe going to quarterfinals, maybe not playing your best CS and losing in quarterfinals. No.
Sure.
I don't know if I have the correct vision. Maybe
no, you do. That's what we wish, that all the players would be like, okay, let's really win this seeding match as much as possible because we want to be further ahead in the tournament. That's what. Yeah. Because if that was everybody's mentality, then we would be able to look at those games and be like, okay, this is a really important game. But the problem we have right now is it's like, well, FaZe don't give a fuck because they're already there. You know, they'll just beat anybody they need to on the stage. You know, and we have those type of conversations, which may or may not be true, right? Like that's the thing. We have to kind of pin the tail on the donkey because not everybody's going to say necessarily how they feel or what they feel. But I agree with yours. I wish that everybody had the mentality you had of, yeah, let's get as far in the event as we can with a good group stage performance. I respect that.
Yeah. Especially when you have teams like FaZe just trolling in the group stage and then going third and then going with a low seed into the playoffs. And then the team who goes second in the other group is like, why the fuck do we have to play FaZe now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So Katowice, you're reflecting on that event. Do you remember much of it? Does it stick out? Was it a memorable event for you guys?
Yeah, for me personally, it was a memorable event, 100%. I mean, making it the first time to that stage was amazing, but also just having a few weeks practice with Brollan and coming to the new season, you know, qualifying to playoffs, and then, I mean, yeah, we lost to FaZe, but it was just an amazing experience, an amazing memory to play on that stage. It is one of the biggest stage in CS, right? So I think every player wants to play on the stage, and it was not a bad lose, but it hurt us a lot. I feel like, because obviously it was versus FaZe, but also just, I don't know, we really wanted to show good on the first event. Like, we wanted to show that with Brollan we are also can do what we did in Pro League, for example, or we are able to do what we did with Frozen. So it was important for us to start with a good result this season.
Okay. Gentlemen, do you have any questions about Katowice by any chance?
Nothing that comes to mind, no.
I mean, why do you think it went so bad? Or do we just keep this for the general FaZe discussion? Because, like, obviously at that point...
Well, then in a couple weeks practice, they didn't get the soft entry to the season of the Blast groups.
Yeah. I mean, it was just like, I think this is just looking at your results in the last year. It's like, good run, lose to FaZe, semifinal, lose in the final. It's just like every time you have a good run, almost, it was FaZe lost. Except for the major where you lost to G2, which is kind of a separate thing. It's kind of always the repeat of the same story, and it feels like it must be, I guess, frustrating for you guys.
Yeah, it is, but it is Counter-Strike, you know. I mean, FaZe is a great team. Losing versus them is not a shame. They are probably one of the best teams in the world, but I mean, I don't know what to say, to be honest. It's always feels shit to lose, but losing to them like 7 times in a row or 6 times in a row on stage is obviously not good. It doesn't feel good, and every time we just play, we just want to win, and it will come by time. I think we are. I don't know if you want to talk about this rivalry, but I think if we talk about it, then we are winning this rivalry in time. I feel like we are really young.
Okay.
You
know,
more of attrition.
They all die sooner.
Yeah, so this plays in our favor, I feel like, but we are getting more experience, more time, you know. But it is always a fun matchup to play versus them, and we always enjoy it. Like, they are a great team. And
they're also on the way
sometimes we
down
lose.
now, you know. So you guys are on the way up. So it seems like it's heading in that direction. Yeah.
Yeah.
But because obviously we were going to talk a bit about Chengdu. I guess we can still. But you played them in the final there in China, right? And does it feel that there's a bit of like they are more confident against you guys? Like they're the big brother and you're the little brother, and they know that they can beat you up whenever they want type thing. Like, is there an aura going into those games where you guys are a little bit, oh fuck, we haven't beaten them this many times? Because everything you're saying, bang on. Yeah, they're a great team. It's just when we get these rivalries, like it's hard to call it a rivalry, right? Because you need to be a bit back and forth.
Yeah.
It's they've got your number, like they've got you in the pocket. Does it feel that way, or is that like all the noise that you need to kind of ignore as a player so that you can get the job done eventually?
No, I wouldn't say it's in our head, you know, when we are playing versus them, that we need to beat them or whatever is the case. We always going to all the games that we want to be the best team in the world, and we need to beat all the good teams in the world, and it includes FaZe as well. So I think we have always the same mindset when we are playing versus them. But if we look at the results, it looks like they could be more confident than us. And obviously we are playing on big stages, and they are always performing really good. And in this season, maybe we couldn't show our best on the stages, but we also only lost to FaZe, I think, and G2. Yes, like great teams, you know. And I mean, I don't know.
All right. Let's do this.
You know.
Yeah, no, look. I wanna, because we're an hour into the show right now. Lucas, can we run the ads and then we'll come back and we'll pick up with this? Yes. All right. Run the ads, Lucas. Be right back, guys. Couple minutes.
Are you tired of your boring old skins? Head to Trade It and trade them for exciting new ones within seconds. With 24/7 support, massive inventory, free giveaways, and low fees. Trade It is the highest rated trading platform in the market. What are you waiting for? Start trading today for a $5 bonus, only on Trade It.
But one thing remains the same: victories with 1xBet.
Since the dawn of CSGO, we have been there. Observers of all that competition can reveal. Elation, fear, triumph, and heartache reach out from every frame. From the small studios and conference rooms to the epic arenas, the feeling is still the same. We live and breathe this game. This was CSGO Through the Lens. Buy now at hltv.org/shop.
All right, we're back from the break. Thanks for sticking with us. Well, let's pick up with probably one for you and the boys, Torzsi, that was quite traumatic, I'd imagine. You mentioned G2, that loss. Now we go to the major. Striker likes to remind us that you guys were going to lose that game anyway. But you're in the middle of a match at the major and the stage gets stormed. I'm sure at this stage, did you guys have any idea of the rigmarole that was going on behind the scenes, that there was these, I'll call them fucking clowns, with this as an available option for your stage match of people rushing the stage?
No, we had no idea. Absolutely no idea about it. Nobody told us anything. But I heard people knew about it before, but I didn't read anything on Twitter about this. Like, I didn't see anything, but I heard people knew about this beforehand. But we didn't know as well.
Yeah, that was like a few hours lead in.
Yeah, and it was all directed at the G2 guys, right? Obviously, based on one of their old sponsors or sponsors. I don't know the situation. We don't even need to get into that. So you guys are mid-match. Striker, you've got the details here. I think you've got it written down. You like to reference this every time. I think it's on like a sticky note on your monitor. What was the scoreline at the time this happened, Striker?
It was halftime. I don't remember what the actual score. Yeah.
Okay.
7-5, no?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
So you're
7-5, I think.
Yeah, so you're sitting there on stage. All this commotion breaks out. Talk us through it from your perspective. What the fuck is going on?
What happened correctly? Do you want me to say it?
From your POV, yeah.
Okay.
What happens?
Okay, so they rushed the stage, and to this major, we brought our families and girlfriends, and they were sitting in the second row, so they were really close to us. And they ran up the stage, and we don't know what is going on. And we are asking the admin to leave, and he says, no, we have to stay. And then a few seconds later, like 20, 30 seconds later, he says, okay, let's go down. So we go down back to the backstage. We go backstage. We need to wait a little bit. We are asking if our families are good and everything is all right. And they said, yeah, it's all good. Nothing happened. They just rushed on the stage. Then they say we can go back on the stage. So we start to go back on the booth. And then there is this security guy. And I am still not sure what happened correctly. But me, Camille and me, siuhy and me, we heard the same thing, 100%. We said to each other, so we can proof. We have proof on it. Both of us heard the same thing. The security guy is running towards us, shouting that somebody got stabbed. Somebody got stabbed, and we have to run backstage right now because somebody got stabbed. And I still don't know if we misheard it or what happened, but we have to go back. And now, we got how do you call it? You are scared, you know? You don't know what is going on. Shocked. Yeah, you are in shock. Emotions are high. You don't know what is going on. And then we need to see our families because we don't know what is going on. And
yes, you don't have your phones either at this time. Yeah,
we don't have phones. And we told them we are not starting until we can see our families and girlfriends and everything. And until we know everybody is safe.
Yeah.
And then we just need to wait in backstage for 10 minutes. And then they say, no stabbing happened, but they will bring our family and girlfriends, and we saw them. We gave a hug, and then we had to go play in this kind of mental state. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that people can forget is the average age of your team is 20.7 or something, right? You're 22. Everybody's quite young on the team. And I think it's easy to forget, that you've got these blinders on. You're sitting there on stage so focused, and then something happens. You have no idea. Like Prof is saying, you don't have the phone. You can't really know what the fuck is happening. And it's definitely would be a rattling experience. I was sitting there on my phone watching the guy on his stream, as I had your game on the television. I'm watching your match, and I'm looking at this fucking clown. He's like, rush the stage now, and people aren't rushing the stage and shit. And I thought, from my perspective, I'm like, this is a fucking comedy. What is this clown doing? He's got these women that he's paid behind him to dance and shit. But from your perspective, you guys have no clue what's going on at all. And the stage get rushed, and the family there, I think, it's very understandable that you guys are going to be completely shaken up and taken out of the game. So, I obviously, hindsight 2020, but you guys went back up there to play. Is everyone's mental state just fucking fried at that point?
Yeah. Obviously I felt it as well, but I feel like I could focus back on the game. I think I also played a good game there, but I feel like I could focus back in the game. But I know my teammates, they were looking like always on the spectators, I don't know what is going on again. Is somebody rushing again? I don't know. Yeah, we were not in a good headspace altogether as a team after that. It was really hard to sit back and play again and focus. Though, to be honest, I don't know what the fuck was going on, because if they wanted to do it versus G2, I'm not saying they should have done it on the G2 side. But if you use your brain, why are you doing on our side if you are doing it versus G2? At least fucking use your brain a little bit. It doesn't make sense what they are doing.
That's what I thought at the time, yeah.
Obviously it doesn't matter if they do it on our side or their side. Don't do it at all. But if you want to harm G2, why don't you do it on MOUZ side?
Yeah. No, the whole thing was just fucking stupid, mate. And I'm sorry that you had to go through that. It's fucking, especially at the majors, right? That's just fucking nonsense that had to go down at all. Yeah, okay. All right. Well, do we want to ask more questions about the major, gentlemen, or do we want to sail forward?
I mean, it's definitely a shit show. So just a sad state of affairs and things that happened. That's it.
All right.
We were also coming back because I think it was 6-1, and then it went 7-5. So we had the momentum.
See, Striker?
There you go, Striker.
It was not possible. I never said it wasn't possible. I was just saying it was.
I wouldn't say we would have won that game. Because first game we got, I think, destroyed.
Yeah.
But we were coming back on that map. I know we had the momentum, but it got fucked up.
All right. Well, let's jump to somewhere, because obviously we were talking about Chengdu before in that final. But what I want to do is let's talk about the goods, right? The back-to-back best of 5 studio events. Pro League Season 19. Now you've won 18. Now you've won 19. That must feel real good. Then you go to BetBoom and over Vitality, right? You send Zywoo pack and you say, see you later, mate. Then you go to BetBoom Dacha and you go, you know what? Zywoo is not enough. Let's take out Donk, and you fucking give them a paddling. These are 2 best of 5s. You don't drop a map. You get it done. You're playing some really good synergistic Counter-Strike. Everybody's confident. You're aggressive CS. You're constantly peeking and dueling. You're in the face. And MOUZ are at the top of the pops. So what was the flow state? Is this just from the NXT days where you guys were playing in that We Play studio that Prof's donning the shirt of, and you guys just so used to that kind of, that's we talk about it as that's the home for MOUZ at the moment, those type of environments. Why was the Counter-Strike that you guys were playing then so good?
Okay, so basically I think it comes from the major. When we went to the major, we were in insane form. I think everybody was on the top of their game, and one of us went to major that we want to win it and we are capable of it. And then we went 3-0, and we lost to G2 after this accident. And after that game, we just talked about that. That it shouldn't break us, and everybody knows where we are standing at the moment, because we could all see on practice and also on officials that we are playing really good, and we haven't won a trophy in this season, and we really wanted to win with this team. And then all this was coming from the major, this confident thing, and then it was leading it up to the Pro League, where we beat everyone on the group stage and then beat everyone in the playoffs. And we were just so confident, and we know that we are capable of lifting trophies and win. And we just also, there was a big team, not team talk, but there were talks going on inside the team it's whatever. But there were also discussions going inside the team. What should we do to improve? And after that, this talk was before EPL started.
Okay.
And it was a really important talk for everyone in the team, and it cleared up a lot of things for us. So with this one, we were going inside EPL, and then Yeah, I think Camille was playing insane. Siuhy had a great event, and he called us to the trophy. You know, he had insane impact, and everyone played great. Also, Sershan, I think he had like 140 or something, 135.
Mhm.
So yeah, everybody just stepped up and know what we needed to win.
These conversations before, were they with the sports psychologist, or were they like, making sure that everybody was communicating enough, or maybe people not understanding the rounds that Shui wanted to call? Or can you go into more detail about those type of conversations?
Um, I I will just say that it was between players mostly. It was between players, and there were some misunderstandings
Okay.
of roles inside the team. But I don't want to go inside more detail because I don't want to share too much. But
Sure.
it was inside between the players and like misunderstanding of roles.
Okay.
That's what I would
On
describe.
servers, on server
Yeah, on
stuff.
server. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, those type of things, I think people should understand that it can build up, because if you have this expectation that one teammate is going to do this in certain scenarios or respond this way, and that's always kind of either stepping on your toes or not having, that can be very frustrating, right? Because you could get pissed off. Why didn't he cover this, or why didn't he do this? So yeah, those type of little issues definitely need to be ironed out. Which was the better of the wins, Pro League or Betbum Dacha?
Pro League.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Why do you say
100%.
that?
I mean, it's a better tournament, obviously, and going back to back on Pro League. So yeah, it was it was a really important tournament for us, I feel like, and I am happy we could have won it. But
Okay.
yeah, I think the Dacha tournament was just, of course, the spirit was there, but in overall, it was not like a good tournament, you know. Like also the pieces were, I don't know, like we were playing on stage, and session has like 7 technical difficulties, you know. It was not, it didn't have the best setup, I feel like.
Okay.
I'm also curious how much, because from what I remember that run, I think both against G2 and Complexity, you start out with a pretty bad loss, right? You have to come back from maps down in that playoffs. Yeah, did it feel like a more difficult run than it did from the outside? Because obviously people look at the Vitality win, and that was just so straightforward that that's what they remember Pro League for. But what about the whole playoffs? I mean, especially after people were kind of questioning, this is not an arena event, obviously, but you were struggling in playoffs previously. Was it a good experience to be able to come back from those opening map losses to teams like Complexity and G2 to be able to win the tournament in the end?
Yeah, I think the most difficult game versus it was like Complexity, where they beat us the first game, and then second game was a little bit close.
Yeah.
And they were playing really good CS at that time. Like they were really good. And also, as you said, yeah, G2 also beat us, but I think second and third map we kind of ran them over. To be honest, I think we beat them confidently.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Complexity game was tough. They were playing really good CS, and elec was in form. Like he's an insane player. So yeah, Complexity game was really tough, but I wouldn't say it was an easy run, no, because we know what work we put in before the tournament and also throughout the tournament, and we put it like a lot of energy we used for this tournament, and it was really tiring. Also, it's like a 2-week tournament or something like that, so it was exhausting.
Okay. So this is where I wanted to ask the question of, and I don't, how do I frame this? What is the difference from your perspective between playing an event in a studio environment or playing in a big arena environment? Are there ways that you have to approach the game differently?
Good question. Like, for me personally, I feel like this year I improved a lot in playing on big stages. I think I'm playing decent on big stages, but I think besides is in your head. Like you have to, I don't know, just go inside the server with as much confidence as you can and not think about the 15,000 people watching you, or I don't know. And maybe we are struggling with it. You know, I'm not sure what's the case, but we lost on stages a lot of times this year. Yes, it's true, but I just want to say I think lost only to FaZe and G2. Like if we played versus, for example, on we beat G2 in Chengdu, you know, that gave us a lot of confidence. For
Yeah.
example, like, and then we lost to FaZe again. Like,
So are you kind of frustrated from the kind of storyline or narrative that people are putting now and just putting that pressure on you?
I wouldn't say it's pressure. It's just it's a little bit annoying to see that people saying that we are not performing on stage or whatever is the case. It's not nice to see. Like on Katowice we lost to FaZe, and then was the major where we lost to G2 after this accident, and then on Chengdu we see improvements. We beat G2 on stage, and then we lost to FaZe again. And other than that, was Dallas only where we could have still played on big stage, but we didn't manage to qualify there. But yeah, like we saw improvements playing on stages, but we still couldn't catch up beating FaZe.
Okay. So I guess that's where we go into the obvious topic, which would be Dallas, and why the hell you didn't practice before Dallas. Like, so you pick up these couple of wins. This is what didn't make sense to me from the beginning, especially like, I don't know if I'm looking into it too much or if I'm just overreading into what you guys have said since. But for me, you go into EPL, you win it. You go into Dacha, you win it. And obviously, this whole thing about arenas is hanging over your heads. Everybody's talking about it like, okay, but we want to see them do it in the big arena. This is your last tournament of the season. How do you not practice before it? How do you not keep up this form? You know, how do you not make sure that this is how we can end the season on a high, and then we have 2 months off?
Yeah, so like after a long run at EPL and Belgrade, like coming back with 2 trophies, you know, it was basically a discussion about burning out and mental health, because everybody could see on the players that we were struggling playing. Like it was really exhausting, and yeah, it was just too much, you know, playing. And so they were discussing about taking a break before Dallas, like this 4 days we were at home to not play. And they were discussing about this with the coaching staff. And obviously we also really appreciated from us players, because it was needed, I feel like. And it also, like, the decision had to make that after we came back, Luda, Brollan, he bought a house and he had to move. So he wasn't at home for 1 month, then he goes home for 4 days and he had to move. So he had to move because he kind of sold his old apartment and bought his new house. So we didn't really have a chance to practice. And yes, you were right that after the Dallas lose, I kind of misworded that we didn't want to practice. I'm not sure what I exactly said, but we were really burned out. It's true, but the big thing that was Luda was moving, Brollan was moving, and we couldn't really find time to practice as well.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a 2-in-1. Like maybe if it was normal circumstances, maybe you could have found, you know, time, but you also kind of didn't want to. And then there's this, and it's just like, yeah, fuck it, let's not practice.
Yeah.
Do you regret that decision now or not? Do you think, like, do you guys just think that even without the practice, you could have gone into Dallas and at least made playoffs and made a good run?
Yeah, I mean, it obviously bothered me to get knocked out of Dallas, but I'm confident that we will learn from this situation, and I think all of us appreciate that what the management did for us, because we were really on the edge of like not playing, and it was nice to see from the side of organization that they were kind of taking care of us on that on that moment, even though it didn't work out. You know, it
Sure.
was
How is that from kind of like also internally? Obviously, you go and have these couple of wins. I'm sure that just brings your confidence up, but also expectations in terms of what you want from your next tournaments. And I'm sure, I mean, this is also something that we can talk about heading into the next season for you guys. How, like, does this put you in a place where you just want to be number one? You just want to win every event you go to, or do you have to kind of manage expectations and know that maybe this is like a peak, but we shouldn't expect this to be our level at all times? What's the kind of mindset about this?
yeah. So for the for the next season with MOUZ, like we will hunt for more trophies, and especially for the two big ones, Cologne and the Major. We really want to win one of them or both. Really hope both. But obviously for that we still need to improve on a lot of aspects in our team, and we will try to improve on every level. But yeah, just we will still hunt for more trophies, and this is what we want to expect from ourselves, to win trophies with this squad. Yeah.
Do you think though, torzsi, because now that the majors are at the end of the season, do you think it's a fair statement from people doing our type of jobs to speculate that certain events don't matter as much for you guys? Because if you want to time your peak and you don't want to get burnt out like what you were feeling at the end of this season, do you think you'll have to go into some tournaments knowing this is more of a practice event, or the end result, if we win and we play great, yeah, but we're not going to be able to put in as much prep time and stuff? Is that a consideration?
Yeah, I think you're right that for the next season there will be some events where teams maybe will not play their best CS because maybe they will not prepare too much or not practice too much because they will want to save energy. And I think every team will just focus on Cologne and Major. Like this is the two biggest event for the next season, and yeah, like there will be events in between, like for example the Rio, I am Rio,
Yeah.
which maybe will not be the focus for the teams too much, and I think this is understandable. And also, I think it comes that for the next season we will have to kind of already prepare what it will look like, because like from the 2025 season, right, there will be these new tournaments and much more tournaments. So we will need to pick what tournaments you go to smartly, and you kind of have to plan for the whole season beforehand.
Do you expect the second part of the season to be kind of busy for you guys? I'm sure there's also some smaller events that are maybe not announced that are probably going to be somewhere in the gaps that we don't know yet. Do you think you're going to be at some of the smaller stuff, or can we just expect MOUZ to take it slower after the experience you had in the first part of the season?
Yeah, I'm not sure, to be honest, what tournaments we will play yet. I expect a less busy schedule for us for the next season, as looking at the events, because I think this season had more events than the next one will be. But yeah, maybe we will go to like smaller tournaments. You know, I'm not sure yet. We didn't discuss it yet. Everybody's on vacation, so yeah. But from my perspective, I look at the moment maybe a little less busier than the last season.
Okay. Look, let's jump a little bit more forward, and then we can talk about anything for next season, and we can talk about when you guys are coming back. But let's put a bow on MOUZ's. What will we call it? Was just season one? Is it like a what first season of the year? We need to come up. It's not really like the
season,
the winter and spring season.
Spring and fall, is that kind of how it goes?
I guess we could go with that. Yeah. But one thing that we haven't touched on, which we definitely should, and I'd love to hear what this gentleman is bringing to the table, is obviously the addition to the team of Zipex.
Yeah.
What is the old clutch minister brought his way? He's only 28 years young, right? You've got yourself a young assistant coach in the mix there with Cycron. So what has he brought to the team? What type of, because he always keeps to himself at events. He's not always the most, talkative type of guy. So how is Zipex as part of the team?
Yeah, I mean, he's taking the assistant coach, like, right, Andreas Zipex, and he's bringing great knowledge and really good amount of experience, and also he has a good impact on us. To, for example, he helped us in game stuff, like for example, bet calling or after plan situations. Like he helped us with a lot with this. What do we do at in those scenarios, and when do we bet call and things like this. But also, he's also transitioning at the moment from player to this coaching role, and he's also learning, and he wants to improve in his role. And I think that our coaching staff we have is a really great, because Dennis Cyclone, and we have now Andreas Zipix, and we have our sports psychologist Ole Wright. All of them can improve each other in different areas. Like for example, if somebody needs to improve on giving critics, then they can help each other how to do it, or things like this, or whatever is the case. But
I just like how we both laughed about the same situation where you went with the first name and nickname, which is just such a, like, all the Russian speaking community does that. It's like Danya Zeus and all that stuff. Sasha Simple, Valera Beats. They always say first name, nickname, and you just did the same thing. Nobody else does it, so it just like struck, I think, both.
I just looked at Striker and he looked at me, even though I'm looking at the screen, so I don't know who he's looking at, but I knew he was looking at me, and it was like the classic like classroom. You start to laugh, but then you can't stop, and it's like for no reason. And I'm gonna get kicked out by Chad, who's not amused by the story at all.
I didn't know that the Russians did that. I didn't know that was a common trope. So I've learned something.
You never heard like Sasha Simple?
Well, maybe, but it's never really stuck with me, and it didn't tickle me the same way it tickled the two of you right there.
It's
right?
just I think it's it's also internal meme in HLTV staff. Like
okay,
but it's not funny, but it's just a thing we say.
But I think I just want to say two more things about this. I think one of the big reason Andreas Zipex he chose us one of the big reason was Dennis Cyclone. Like as a coach the past years, I think he showed great improvements, and he's I think one of the best coach right now out in the CS scene. So probably one of the biggest reason was Dennis, and also the squad, what he saw on us, the young squad. And one more thing I just want to say, that he just Tipex and his family just they just had their daughter, so shout out to them. And
oh wow,
congratulations from here if he's watching.
Nice. All right. So you got a new assistant coach. You have a Swede who's now full-time part of the team. You made a grand final. You won 2 back-to-back trophies. For your spring season of 2024, we'll go for the 1 to 10 rating again. Torzsi, how does it make you feel? How would you rate your first season of the year?
I will give a 8.5.
A what?
An 8.5.
Okay, all right. I thought you said 3.5. I was like, shit, mate. How much more you got to do in a season for it to be a good one? 8.5. That makes sense. Nice.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, reached number 1 in the ranking.
That's true too.
Like
yeah.
Two tournament trophies, a bunch of playoffs, like everything except Dallas. I think you made playoffs. So overall, a pretty good season, and a lot of potential, I feel like.
Yeah, a lot of potential, and I really enjoyed this war season. And I mean, we didn't win a big trophy yet, but as I said, that's what we are hunting for. And to make it a 9 or a 9.5 or a 10, maybe winning a major and Cologne would be nice.
Yeah, that would definitely be a 10.
But so there is still room to improve. But I think overall MOUZ maybe had the best season ever.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm really happy we could achieve this with this squad.
All right, now we've got a couple more. Let's try and make these ones a bit more quick fire, because we're going to do Skinionaire, and then we're going to do what are the odds. But we got a couple more, just a bit more general about the scene. Who do you think is, well, actually, I'm not going to ask who do you think is your biggest competition, because we know it's FaZe. But who do you think is the best team in the world right now?
Right now, I think.
You can say MOUZ Sports.
Yeah, that's fine.
I think the problem is the teams are really close. I think.
Well, give us the top 3 then.
top 3: MOUZ, Spirit, and FaZe.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah, the problem, there are so many teams with speaking, and they are so good. Like Navi, G2, MOUZ, Spirit, Vitality, like many great teams at the moment.
It is very difficult, yeah.
Why do
Yeah.
you think Counter-Strike is in the period it is right now where there's so many teams that are tough to separate? Do you think it's the style of Counter-Strike that's being played? Do you think everybody just has a high level at the moment? What do you make of it?
I think everybody has their high level. I think everybody can compete on the highest level at the moment, and like out of the 6 teams, anybody can beat everybody. I feel like I think it's also because of the style of the Counter-Strike. What is going on? It's really fast, It's aggressive CS, and probably when everybody plays like this, there are a lot of mistakes, and it's just who can capitalize. Yeah, who can capitalize on it. So yeah.
It does
just also feels like that like the CS2 talent, like completely ignoring what we know from CSGO, is very split at the moment, and we also see some of these teams who are like contemplating or were contemplating changes just because maybe what they thought was going to work in CS2 isn't anymore. I mean, G2 is probably the biggest example, but they still have bonuses, so they still have the peak. Same thing with Vitality, maybe they were considering whether Messi was the right fit or not, but they still have Zywoo, who's just going to destroy like at any moment and can like almost single-handedly put them in title contention. And then obviously FaZe are now on the down low, and Spirit are on the way up, but it just feels like not all the best talent is on the same team. Like FaZe used to have like the super stacked rosters and stuff. That doesn't really happen in CS2 at the moment.
You don't think they have their superstars?
I mean, I think it's questionable whether they have the best players anymore, especially if you consider where Rops was like beginning of CS2, but since then obviously that's a very big difference. So it's I think that is questionable. Frozen, same thing. I mean, he's dropped off a cliff compared to how he started, at least. I mean, it's high standards to live up to, but that's what it is at the moment. It's hard to say. I mean, I don't think that's down to CS2 because they actually did start CS2 really well. It's just something about the team more like.
torzsi, I want to build on what you were saying there about like it being fast and aggressive, because when I'm watching, it feels like a lot of the rounds, there are, Ancient's a great example because there's so much chaos going on that map, right? You get people, they smoke cave, they smoke mid. Okay, maybe your pincer from heaven and lower mid, and that all in mid can determine the round. And okay, shit, they're taking mid control. The CTs need to push down B lane. It feels like at the moment in Counter-Strike, a lot of chaos gets caused, and then it's just how quick people can solve the gap. And then if they can win that duel or get a multi, that's essentially the round. Right? Like, does it just feel like people are always trying to find the perfect gap, which is leading to what you're saying of like maybe a lot of mistakes are made because a push could be punished if someone's holding it and you read the scenario wrong?
Yeah, I think the biggest X factors right now in CS2 is like, as you said, the star players who are going first, like these space takers, for example, Alish, Sershan, Donk, like exactly what you said, that you need to find these gaps. You need to like think about so fast to what is the perfect call to do, and it's really difficult at the moment to do it perfectly. And yeah, I think probably these guys are the biggest X factors, and these guys will decide who will win the game, in my opinion. Yeah. For example, on Ancient, like on T side, you go out and the mid players as T, like Sershan, Dong, do they go through Donut Smoke? Do they go through here? Do they just making gaps? They are making the other team think, and then they don't have time to think because he's already there. It's like it's just a mind game every single round, and it's sometimes it looks like it is controlled and slow paced, and it's a system, but at the same time it's split decisions and just so fast gameplay at the same time.
Lots of intuition going on in those moments.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, now you're mentioning riflers. Let's compare to other AWPers. So right now, Monacy's in the conversation as one of the best Counter-Strike players in the world alongside of Zywoo, both AWPers, even though Zywoo doesn't do as much AWPing as like a hardcore traditional AWPer. Who in your opinion is let's go with top 3 again, top 3 AWPers in the world right now. You can include yourself as well if you want to do it again.
Yeah, I think I'm there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who's with you?
I think it's obviously Monesi, and I think Zaiwu and me at the moment. Yeah.
Okay. Even though you don't see Zaiwu picking up the AWP as much as you would or Monesi would, do you still?
I mean, we can. Yeah, he doesn't play too much OP. It's true, but this kid is just insane. You know, just picking up AK, destroying everyone. Like, I don't know. He's still, if he picks up the OP, he's still insane. You know.
Okay.
And
Would you
also,
yeah.
like if we wouldn't count Zaiwu, then you know Shiro or
I guess Brokey
Device
have
now or
no.
Brokey exactly. Like I think also right now on the OP scale, the gap is really small.
Okay. Is there an AWPer that inspired you when you were coming up through the ranks? Is there someone that you liked watching more than others?
Back then or now?
Yeah, back then.
Back then, Fallen, yeah.
Fallen.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. All right. All right.
Well,
All
he was
right.
pretty aggressive at that time. I can see some resemblance.
Yeah, I really liked Fallen and what he did for his community and game leading and just in general everything. He was kind of my CS idol.
All right, that's nice. Okay, well, look, gentlemen, we're at the point of the show where we're going to do Skinionaire. So I think are you seen this before, torzsi? This is the quiz we do. 5 questions, multiple choice, A, B, C, and D. Every question you get correct moves the slider up, and some lucky winner at home could get themselves a $50 skin voucher thanks to trade.gg. The questions today, how are they themed, Prof? Did you do it? Did Dimitri do it?
Hungarian themed.
Hungarian themed. Okay.
Damn.
All right.
If I answer wrongly, does it?
They take away your passport. You need to find a new passport.
No. Do we like play all the 5 runs?
All
Yeah.
Oh,
No
okay.
matter
You
what
can
happens,
answer all 5
we go all the
questions.
questions.
Okay.
All right, let's do this. Who wants to be a Skinionaire? Brought to you by tradeit.gg with torzsi in the hot seat, ready to answer the questions. Question number 1. Which of the following is not a Hungarian pro player? RML, MSN, or BPM?
BPM.
Okay, locking in C, BPM. Correct answer is C, BPM. And I just need to remind everybody at home in chat right now to type trade it in chat for your raffle ticket for your chance to potentially win the skin voucher thanks to trade.gg. All right, question number 1. Nice and easy. Got that one. I think I played against MSN in a pug the other day.
Yeah, he's grinding face it.
I think we fucked him.
And that ML is an OG.
Yeah, and also has some controversy around him from what I remember.
Yeah.
I
All
remember
right.
even I played against RML in like 2013, 14 or some shit. I remember him well.
RML. Never heard of him. How old? He's an old boy like me. Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
He's actually a brain surgeon, I think.
Wow.
What the?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's doing better than me then. All right, question number 2. Who is the only Hungarian to lift the trophy on the major stage? Bodito, Flashy, or Dead Fox?
Flashy, of course. Congrats to them.
Nice little trick one there. Obviously, is he an analyst or assistant coach? What's his title over there at Navi?
Assistant coach.
Okay, all right.
Or analyst, sorry.
All right.
Yeah.
And where did I swear I saw Dead Fox somewhere recently. He was at an event. I saw him in the lift.
At the awards.
Was he at the
Serbia.
awards?
Yeah.
Oh, shit, he was too. I was like,
Yeah.
hey, Dead Fox, what's going on, man? You know, it's a long time no see. All right, 2 from 2. torzsi smashing it so far. Question number 3. Which of the following teams features 2 Hungarian players? Sangal, Pera, or Zero Tenacity?
Pera.
Okay.
Also a Hungarian organization, right?
No.
No, they're not?
No, I think it's a gambling organization. Or
Oh, that's Turkish actually. Okay.
All right,
But gambling is bad in Turkey. Like, how can that be?
Whoops.
How can that be, Striker?
Well, it was correct. It's Aaron and Corey, alongside of Deagle, Poya, and Bibu.
Yeah.
Bibu.
Corey played, he's like Serbian as well or something. He played in a bunch of regional tournaments.
yeah, he just lives across the border, and
Comes back and forth.
whatever suits him at the time, you know, that's how it is.
he's a good friend of mine. I like him a lot.
All right, we're killing this. We're going to go into question number 4. Just 2 more to get around to get that $50 voucher. Which team won V4 Future Sports Festival in 2018 in Budapest, Hungary? Was it MOUZ, Tricked, or VP?
Wait,
Oh,
what?
dear.
Wait, 2019 I was
20
there and tricked won. 2018,
You were not there.
I think it was not tricked. Because tricked won when I was there. I think it is MOUZ.
MOUZ were good in
It would
2018.
be crazy if Tricked won 2 times in a row.
No,
Well,
they won 2019, no? 2019, yes.
I actually got baited and I thought it was 2018, but I think you're right.
So we're locking in a MOUZ.
Should be MOUZ 2018, I
I think it was MOUZ, and then I'm pretty sure you're right.
Because
Oh, well.
2019 was tricked, I'm pretty sure.
We're going to lock in a MOUZ, and the correct answer is a MOUZ. Bang. Problem solved that one. Nice. That would have been the Chris J MOUZ, right?
Was it Chris J? Yeah.
Woxic, Chris J, 2018,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. All right. Question number 5. This is for 5 for 5. With over 50 maps on record, who is the highest rated Hungarian player in 2024 so far? Fleeve, Slend, or torzsi?
Did Slant play 50 maps?
I don't know.
Or wait, is it overall 50 maps?
All these have at least. I'm sure all these have 50 maps. I don't think this is such a trick question where like they would just have somebody who doesn't play 50 maps. I think all of them.
Is
have,
it
all of
like
you guys.
highest rate like overall or top 20?
Overall.
Then probably I think Slant. Slant should be.
That'll be my guess too.
Yeah,
He's been
okay.
pretty great.
All right, we're going to lock in B, Slend, who's at Gamer Legion right now. And the correct answer is Slend. 5 from 5, torzsi. The confetti comes down. You've done it. You've absolutely fucking smashed it. And, well, we're going to be giving the skin to one lucky winner in chat. I'm ahead of stream when revealing the answer. What does that mean, Lucas? Oh, I see what. Sorry, Lucas. Sorry, man. I was on the wrong link. Sorry, Lucas. The winner is Levi__God. Congratulations to Levi. Our people will reach out to your people. And well, guess what? We'll get you your skin. Congratulations and good stuff to torzsi. Okay. We're almost there. Lucas, roll the recent news bumper. We'll fly through this and we'll get out of here. All right, we're back. There's not a lot of recent news, so we're not going to spend too much time on it. I'm going to tell you what the news is, and if you guys want to comment, you can comment. That's how we're going to do this right now. Okay, first things first. Icy benched on AMKAL. Overdrive says the reason that he was benched is because he was trialing for Cloud9 without asking permission from AMKAL if he could trial. Now he's on the bench. That's the news. Anything you guys want to add to that?
Wow, what a great punishment.
I mean, that's a crazy thing to do, no? Like how
It is slightly crazy thing to do.
like how are you tryouting without saying anything to your organization? Like what the fuck are you doing?
Man, he thought he was gonna, he's gonna secretly.
it's like-
slide
I mean,
out.
everyone knew. So he's like, why do I need to say this? Like everyone's tweeting about it anyway. So
I think
like,
I think I saw Overdrive say exactly the same thing. Is like everybody knows literally the second you enter a server with somebody else, like everybody knows it at that point. So like, how do you do it without your organization knowing?
It's like when it feels like playing at ESA intermediate and then you are swapping a team and then you don't say anything and you just ditch your team or something.
Yeah.
Well, let's see if this has any impact on IC being able to go from AMKAL to Cloud9. Obviously, we haven't seen the additions to the Cloud9 roster yet, but if it has a negative impact and the guy gets stuck on the bench, then yeah, maybe he should have said
if
something.
you're depending on how much you like money, right? Like if you're AMKAL
Money
and you're like
fans.
exactly like if you're AMKAL and you want to be petty, then you just keep him on the bench and you just don't sell him if your contract doesn't have a clear buyout, which I would hope they have, but you never know with organizations that have just like entered this space and stuff. But then if you like money enough, then you'll be like, well, either we keep this guy on the bench, nobody's gonna buy him out, or we at least get something for him, even though he did this thing that we didn't like him for. So just depends on how petty they are.
All right. Okay, that was a riveting piece of news. Next, absolutely riveting edge of the seat piece of news since our last show on Friday. I'm a Pet, aka Chet, targets return, former NIG/EG coach who's been working in Valorant for the last few years. According to sources, Striker, who are the sources and how much should we believe said sources?
I absolutely believe said sources. I cannot disclose my sources.
Wow.
I can say though that he is definitely reached out to multiple organizations across both Europe and North America about, just seeing what his options are.
Okay, and now he just officially goes by Chet. He doesn't go by I'm a Pet anymore. Okay, great.
So, joining Liquid?
Well, I'm sure he would have asked.
That would be interesting. Yeah, I mean, you'd be stupid not to like poke your head there, and you'd be like, well,
Yeah, you
I'm
may as well
available.
offer.
I'm
Yeah.
available. There's enough rumors going out that that Zeus might be out of the team, so might as well.
All right. Well, that was that piece of news. Okay, now a fun one. There was a Jame interview. I believe it was done with BetBoom. You guys featured it on HLTV as of yesterday. And this interview, it feels ominous in a way, or maybe we could just say that Jame is being very honest, or maybe he is getting these things out there to preface what the future might hold.
Or
The long and
maybe
the
it's
short-
just like throwing misdirection, sand in everyone's eyes.
That could be true too. There's a lot James says here that reflects on the fact that things. Well, actually, when I read this interview, it read that maybe it wasn't the player's decision that Electronic joined the team. Did anyone else get that vibe?
I didn't read it, to be honest.
That's all right, Torzsi. I never usually do. I only did today because I thought I should prepare.
To some degree, I would say it felt like kind of like he's inserted into this, and then how everyone's just kind of dealing with the aftermath.
Yeah,
of,
the ramifications.
Yeah,
because
but it's also that, like, you know, you don't. From what I didn't hear the whole thing. I didn't obviously, like, since it's in Russian, like, it's not so easy to just go through
the tone,
subtitles and all that stuff. So it's a bit difficult to definitely say. But it's more like, it felt more like, because it came kind of suddenly, and it did, like, nobody knew about it. Like, it happened within like 2 days. It happened very quickly. This move. So since nobody knew about it, I imagine they didn't either until very last minute. And so it's more like the bomb just kind of drops on them that he's even available, you know. So you can say, like, yeah, we want him, but we're not going to be able to actually implement him, you know, in that time. So that's more what I read from the tone of the interview. But it could be either. And I mean, if you're VP and you have a chance to sign Electronic, you will do it. Like, it doesn't matter what your players think.
I think it's just cool. It kind of confirms everything we spoke about since this news was announced, that, you know, you can't really do what you've been doing before, that he's a vocal player. Think other players need to kind of give him space and give him the, you know, shut up, essentially, to let him kind of dictate the pace and the play sometimes. One quote that's not the title that I liked, and he said, there is Captain Opper and there's Opper Captain. I used to be the former, so my sniper roles came second, but now we need to make sure I'm a sniper first, and then I'm a captain, because we have a player who can help make that happen. So essentially, kind of alleviating some of the responsibilities to Electronic, and then focusing more on kind of his individual play, which is an interesting thing. And this is not necessarily that he's saying that he's not going to be the IGL, but that's kind of a separate quote where he says kind of about Blade being the center of Navi, where Electronic was before, and then in our team, I was the center element that formed our vision in the game. And then he says, this is the whole quote: right now, there's a certain disconnect on the team, because he is not, Electronic is not seeing a player that is allowed to do so much during matches in theory. We are trying to fix this. There's an option where he becomes the captain, but there's also all sorts of option. He can become the captain. Someone else from the team can as well.
Yeah, I just don't understand, what is that going to solve if you make somebody else the captain, when, like, you have two, like, kind of different players, like, two vocal players who are obviously used to having a lot of say in the team, and you're just going to hand over leadership to a third player who just doesn't really make sense.
It really feels like that comment is just kind of like an offhand, you know.
Yeah,
could be this, could be this, could be anything.
It could be
it's
something
like,
completely else. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It didn't. It felt very weird to see that in the interview, but yeah, I have the same feeling, like a lot of people. Like, how are we at this point again, where Electronics possibly considering taking over again of a team, when, like, he tried that once, he realized maybe that wasn't for him, and now we're just restarting the whole cycle. Like, I'm not a fan of that, just because it didn't go so well last time.
Yeah. Well, Torzsi, what's your take on VP? You played them not that long ago, Bevin Dacha, right? You played them over there in the group stage. You owned them on 2 maps, one of them being Dust 2, and lost to them on Vertigo. So what do you make of VP with this new roster?
Yeah, to be honest, I don't know. I don't feel like they really, like, fit as a team. You know, like Electronic it's like he has such a high voice, you know, in the team, and also in Navi or Cloud9 he had a big voice, and you can always hear him. He's IGL, right? And then going under Jame, and I don't know, it just doesn't seem right for me. But I think my honest take is if they can fix like role issues and find a solution um, to fix those things, then they can be really dangerous, because obviously they won a major, right? Like they know how to play CS, and just putting Electronic there, who is insane. And if James stays IGL and Electronic can play his own game, they can be really dangerous, in my opinion.
I just think they're not playing like current meta Counter-Strike. They're still trying to get up to date. I think Jame was more than happy to have Electronic come in and them to have the influence change, because they have some very, very good riflers. Flit, Fame, Electronic all hit very hard. And I think Norbert can do the supportive roles very well. They just need to play current meta Counter-Strike. And I think they're on their way. It's just going to take time. You have to de-brainwash 3 of the 5 players. And Jame needs to change the way that he's the high priest, you know, and to change your religion, it ain't easy. It's a difficult thing to do. Takes time. Now, look, told you this is going to lead us into our next little segment here, and the last segment of the day, which is going to be called What Are the Odds? And I believe, I don't actually know what it is. I'm going to take a guess. I believe Prof for this week's What Are the Odds has run with, what are the odds Electronic will be in-game leading in 2024?
That is completely wrong.
What is it?
It is, what are the odds Jame won't be in-game leading in 2024?
Okay.
Let's go.
Now, told you, this little segment here brought to everybody playing at home by 1xBet. The 4 of us are going to, with the question, Jame will give up in-game leading this year, question mark. We will put a percentage of the likelihood of that happening, each of us, and then we'll find the aggregate of that. And then the people at home will be able to vote one way or another. Based on the odds that are going to come up from this. So would anybody like to go first on their theory of, will Jame give up in-game leading this year?
I just want to clear up the rules for this game, because how do we determine that he's given up in-game leading this year? Like, does he have
we
to?
We ask him in every interview.
He's not sitting in the middle, you know?
Well, that doesn't actually mean anything especially for us a lot of the time. So I don't know about that. But it's more like, I don't want to end up in a situation where it's going to be like old Avant-Garde and you like ask Kickert and Jame like every other event, and they're like, oh, it's 60% me and 40% Jame. Oh no, now it's 20% me and 80% Jame.
As long as it's over 50% someone else.
So we just have to, at any point during the second half of the year.
At any point, even one event.
Okay.
Fine.
All right.
Fine.
That makes it very easy. So I will go with like 80%.
Whoa.
If there's like, look, even if they don't make it official, there's going to be one event where Electronic will just overcall Jame all the time. I can tell you that much.
But it has to be made official.
Has to be commented.
Let's say in an interview.
Look,
either through a DM.
It doesn't matter. I'll stay with 80%. We can. I'm sure we can kind of
use our connections.
Yeah, we can figure out like how much we can, like, people can stand behind VP and be like, well, I just saw you guys. Like, there's a lot of calling that Electronic does. What's the situation right now?
Talking about that, I still need to ask them. In Dallas, I was just passing by or taking photos or something, and they were playing Ancient. And at some point, they made a call called Space Soldiers. And I'm so confused about what the fuck Space Soldiers means on Ancient. When like space,
yeah. Are they on CT? Do you know?
It was. I think it was something around like the exit of cave towards mid. There's like some smoke there. I don't know what's going on. What did you think Space Soldiers is?
No. Well, my thinking was Space Soldiers could be on CD side. For example, the mid start run that you are jumping out like red room, you know, jumping towards Donut, and A guy is holding flash, and if they rush mid, it's insta. You just flash mid and you just double swing Donut.
Is it from like cash, so it's or like something? A counter. Is it from like cash like takeover, or why would that be Space Soldiers?
Also from Mirage.
Okay.
Like, for example, a CT insta running out double short and just flashing over connector, you know.
Then I think it was because I think Flit was holding, like, he smoked and he was holding the rotation, and there were 2 guys coming through a smoke. Like, they were like YOLOing out through the smoke that he was holding. So it might be actually what you're saying.
It could be something like mid like sandwiching meat somehow or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say, Jame, stay strong. Don't give up that in-game leadership, Jame. Just hold on to it. Keep doing it, but don't give it over to Electronic because he'll flip-flop around. You are a true leader, Jame. You've been doing it now. Just because you want to change your style a little bit, don't let Electronic come in and bully you. He can definitely assist you. He can aid you. He can give you ideas. He can make mid-round calls, but keep that in-game leadership. 20%. 20%, Lucas. Not 99. 20%.
I'm copying 20%. That was what I had in mind. So I'm just gonna say 20%. Like there's a chance, but I think this is just James
You guys
saying
are trolling,
things.
man. This is like Stewie all over again.
What?
Yeah, I think it's also low. Do I have to say as well?
Yeah.
I think it's like 30%.
Okay.
My reasoning is they just lost their coach first, and
Well, they got rid of him. Poor
and their
Dustin, man.
yes, and I'm not sure if the coach would be that harsh, that we need to change something, or I'm not sure how open-minded they are there, to change IGL, or James would give it up. I'm not sure about it. I also think it's a low chance.
I don't know.
Okay.
Like we've seen, I've been around VP since they made the change, and I've seen Electronic calls so fucking much that I'm like, it's already like 50-50 or whatever like that. So it's gonna flip over.
It's just that
He does a
Electronic is
lot of
louder.
calling.
He's just louder when he speaks.
I mean, that's also part of it. Maybe that's just because he has a stronger voice, like physically stronger. But at the same time, I've seen too much to think there's not a really high chance that they will not do it. Like for one event, they might fucking try it. Like if you're talking one event, he just has to call 100%. Like
Has to be on the record.
I'm so close. I'm
Put it up to
close
100%.
No. I don't change it now because I don't want to compensate for you guys fucking trolling with 20%.
Put it up to 100%.
For one
no
event.
one's trolling,
Like
bro.
Dacha.
What
Put
are
it
you
up to 100,
talking
man.
about?
Put it
I
up
think
to
it's
100.
crazy, man. Don't do it to 100. It's not gonna be 100. I can't say 100 because I'm not like I can never be sure because they might just fucking 99. Okay, let's keep it at 99.
But
There it
what
is.
does this mean? What does this mean? Just JKS_128 in chat is saying that Jame is in Japan, and on the
So is
other
Rain.
hand, Apex is in Korea, and they're both IGLs. I feel like this means
But Rain's
they'll
in Japan.
both continue IGLing.
And Amanek and Jax are also in Korea
Yeah,
with
and-
Apex.
and Niak as well.
Oh my God. What does
What
this
is
mean?
this with?
Team
What
Pet is also in Japan.
what is this
Jimpat?
sudden?
Fucking
What is
Jimmy's
this sudden
in Japan.
obsession
Jimmy
with?
in
Yeah.
Japan. That's a TV show. I'd watch that.
I feel like it would be awesome. I feel
Why
like
is
that would be
everybody
awesome.
going to Japan? I saw somebody ask, and then I was like, "How many people are in Japan?" And then I saw like 15 players are in Japan.
It's a good spot.
Okay.
People like anime, people like ramen.
Man, if I was like after a whole
Sushi.
season, I don't understand this from pro players. If I was like after a whole season, all that stuff, like traveling back and forth constantly away from home, like the last thing I would want to do is travel across the fucking globe to Japan.
Welcome to my
Like,
life.
I mean,
don't
for you,
go
for sure.
outside.
Like,
I
but
do
that's
go outside.
like I don't understand. Like, okay, like Nico is in Croatia or something. I was like, I understand that. This is like literally just a drive down like 2 hours to the coast or something, and he's probably just chilling somewhere. I'm down for that idea.
All right, just quickly to put a bow on what are the odds brought to you by 1xBet. Are we going to get the people's vote? Oh, no, never mind. We don't fuck the people. Okay, so yes, 2.38 and no, 1.72. It'll come on the Twitter sphere. It'll come on the Instagram. You guys can have your vote
At
at
least
home.
I
We know
put
how
us
this one
closer
goes.
to 50%, man. This is insane.
Well, we'll see, won't we, Striker? We'll see. That's the whole point
we'll
of the
just
game.
add that we have over 200 euros in the kitty, as you like to call
The
it. And
kitty.
the first episode back, we'll
Love a
do a
good stuffed
giveaway
kitty.
for Huntsman knife. That is
Huntsman
more or
knife.
less that value that we found.
Okay, all right.
So that's just a little preview for what's coming next.
All right, nice. Okay, well.
So what does the people say? Did we run the poll?
We
What was
didn't
it?
do people.
Oh, okay.
No, it's like I said, fuck the people. All
I'm
right, we're gonna-
curious. Like, there's no way they would not go like close to 50. There's
they
no
can
chance.
vote
Like, I don't
on
understand.
Twitter and Instagram when it comes
Sure.
up, all right?
All right.
Now, look, before we shut it down for the evening, Torzsi, I want to just ask, when do you go back to practice with MOUZ?
It should be. Wait, what day is it? After next week or next
Okay.
week? Next week. Yes, next week.
Wait, you go, so the week of that starts on
Second.
the,
Second.
well, 1st
February
of July,
2nd.
right?
Yeah.
February
Okay.
2nd.
Okay. All right, so that gives you like 2 weeks worth of practice essentially before. All right, so I guess you guys might be able to start a bit earlier because you finished the season earlier than some of the teams.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. And is there a boot camp or anything planned, or just practice from home?
Yeah, we are going to the new bootcamp facility in
Oh,
Hamburg.
new facilities. Ooh.
Awesome. Well, that should be nice. Get to see all the boys again. Get to hear about Jimmy in Japan. And that mate, I really wish that we had camera following Jimmy around Japan. I would love to watch that.
Me too.
Yeah.
Have you guys actually been in the new headquarters yet, Torzsi?
No.
Okay.
We'll be
Excited
the
about
first
that?
time.
It looks pretty cool from the projections that they've shown so far.
It looks insane on pictures. Also, just like it's in front of the train station. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
And you
It's
also
in
have
Hamburg, right?
Yes.
Sorry?
Yeah.
It's in Hamburg. Yes.
Oh yeah, Hamburg. Yeah.
You also have a little stage so you can like practice in front of like 20 people. Maybe it helps. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe.
This is like
All right.
stage experience. Let's go.
All right, before we close this down tonight, Torzsi, is there anything that you want to say to the people at home? Is there anything you didn't say that you wanted to say?
Just thanks for cheering for us, guys. Keep it up, and also thanks for the opportunity to getting me here and talk about my ideas and thoughts. So yeah, thank you so much. It was a nice experience.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you to Lucas for pushing the buttons, and we only crashed once. That's going to be a new record. Striker and Prof as always. 1xbet and trader.gg. And a big shout out to Torzsi again for joining us and being in an extended version of the hot seat. This was HLTV Confirmed. We'll be back in a couple of weeks' time. Prof's going on holidays. I don't know what Striker's doing.
Nothing.
Good night.
Are you tired of your boring old skins? Head to Trade It and trade them for exciting new ones within seconds. With 24/7 support, massive inventory, free giveaways, and low fees. Trade It is the highest rated trading platform in the market. What are you waiting for? Start trading today for a $5 bonus, only on Trade It.
The world is changing, but one thing remains the same. Victories with 1xbet.
Since the dawn of CSGO, we have been there. Observers of all that competition can reveal. Elation, fear, triumph and heartache reach out from every frame. From the small studios and conference rooms to the epic arenas, the feeling is still the same. We live and breathe this game. This was CSGO Through the Lens. Buy now at hltv.org/shop.